Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Okay, so this is Truth in Oneness Discussion with Enlightened Living. Wait, I said that wrong. Wait, anyway, with an Aquarius and a Scorpio. Okay, what are we talking about today?
Let's talk about some PC.
PC? What do you mean?
Politically correctness.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's too much political correctness going on these days, I feel like. And it's getting a little out of hand. I mean, I guess with everything that's going on in the world, there's a lot of push it of kind of call them shadow issues. Like I don't know what really to call what these uh, things that are going on right now, but everything's becoming a little more PC. It's like you can talk about some things and you can use some words, but you can't say it in a certain way. And if you do, then you offended people, then shame on you, sort of thing. like, um, recently I saw someone's video where they were talking about a specific subject, and like no one liked the way that this person said the things that they said about the subject, or the way they gave their opinion about it, or the words they used. They were so offensive. And I guess my thing is sort of like, why do people care so much how someone is saying what they want to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, we should not be policing how we say things or how we deliver our message to wherever we want to deliver it.
Unless it's just complete hate. Unless it's complete hate with lots of like lewd and crude, disgusting curse words. Like if that's how you deliver a message, then that kind of needs to be checked. But that's different. We're talking about just like how someone's talking about just a certain idea that they have, or like a viewpoint that they have. So it's like we're not looking. People that do need to kind of check themselves are the ones that are like literally just being hateful and using lots of curse words to kind of like beat people down. And this is different. We're just talking about people like just talking about subjects.
So people that are like deliberately trying to bring down people should be checked, or should check themselves, or something like that. But even in those cases, I would say like, I don't know. I feel like I would still be like, whatever they can, I mean, maybe if they're not aware of what they're doing, you could like say something to them. But if that's like how they really want to express themselves and like whatever, then I guess I don't know. I would say if it comes to the point where you're actually physically maybe harming somebody or taking advantage of somebody, I don't know. Then maybe it's more crossing the line. I don't know, but for the most part, I think people are too sensitive when it comes to, and so certain subjects too. I know there's bias in the PC movement that's going on right now that I don't think people are even aware of. But um, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely very touchy subjects, as you're saying,
like racism.
Racism's a really big one.
Quote racism.
Quote unquote racism. Then there's like people talking about their sexuality is like a really touchy one, or like their sexual preferences, or like what kind of relationship styles that they have. That's a touchy one. Eating, for some reason, is a touchy one. Obviously, politics is a really touchy one. It's pretty interesting because it's like it's like I will get to the point of like what it's like to be a white male in a little bit, but it's like just let that sink in for a second, like that phrase "white male," and then we'll like build on that, and like you'll see how like ridiculous all this really is.
Well, and I'm like, because I look at lots of YouTube channels and like stuff like that, but I just noticed like how so many people like whenever they are talking, they always have to, apologize or make sure they're all inclusive to everyone, or make sure, before they say what they're saying, they're not going to be offending anyone. Like just make it a statement that they love everybody and they don't want to offend. It's like, why don't you just like get to your point and move on? But they do that maybe because they are obviously really PC. They don't want any overly sensitive people getting freaked out, or I don't know. But it's like I feel like we shouldn't have to be doing that as like humans.
Yeah.
You should, because it gets in the way of your own self, like sort of
It dampens your
radiation, how you radiate your true self, I guess, to the world in a way.
it dampens you and your message also. It's like if you're always like trying to politically correct yourself, like the message loses its value because you're like, okay, here's what I really want to say, but let me change some of these words, let's remove some of this subject matter, and like, all right, here's what I. No, it doesn't even sound like what I was really going to say. It's like you check yourself so much that what you're trying to say gets completely diluted.
Well, and yeah, I kind of see like even with our this channel that we do here, like especially earlier on, like I feel like there's cases where I try to make sure I keep myself in check a little bit, whatever that means. And you can feel yourself like, okay, I don't want to say it this way because it might offend some people. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, why not like just say things the way you want to say it? Um, say what you mean to say, sort of, and be yourself about things. And people, I think, need to take more responsibility for their own feelings.
Yeah.
You can't get offended by how or someone says or the words they use or what their opinion on something is or whatever. You know what I mean? People need to kind of like, I don't want to say grow up, but like they need
Check
to kind of
themselves at
grow
the
up.
door.
They need to kind of grow up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a lot of people need to like just check their biases and stuff at the door. Like they really are really like the freedom of speech is because people are actually supposed to be able to like express themselves without being censored. But we've learned to kind of like censor ourselves and censor each other, like because we're not saying what's appropriate based on like what people are telling us is what's appropriate. So I'll give you an example of how the whole white male thing. Okay, at this given moment, the ultimate bad guy is a straight, married, white male that's educated, that has a job, has kids, and is able-bodied, and
You mean no physical
yeah,
disability?
no physical disability.
Able-bodied, that's the word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's able-bodied. It's like and Republican, and a couple other things too. But it's like that is the ultimate bad guy, and that's what I am. And like, but the thing is, like, so you can be any race, color, creed, whatever, but as soon as you say that you're proud to be a white male, you are instantly branded an evil person. Like you're a racist, you're a Nazi, whatever. You hate everybody else, not because even though that's not even close to being true. You're just like, I'm proud to be who I am, and they're like, obviously you're a horrible person, but you can be proud to be anything else, and that's okay. You can be if you're a straight guy versus a gay guy. Gay guys are obviously quote unquote oppressed, so they're like, oh, I could, my life sucks. How dare you being a straight guy, like controlling the world and everything like that. I'm like, I'm just here. Like, wait, why am I being like crushed down because of me just existing? Like, I don't get to say or do anything because I have to like check myself everywhere I go because I'm not right. I might offend you because I exist. It's insane. Like, literally, you cannot say or do anything. Being me, it's kind of just hang your
being
head.
Someone like you.
And being someone like me, it's like you have to kind of just literally keep yourself head down, don't speak, because you might offend somebody. So we started speaking out more because it's just insane.
Well, and you're speaking from experience and from your sociology classes and whatnot you've taken. It's kind of like run rampant, especially in the field of sociology in college, or the college scene, right? It's kind of, I would say it's gotten out of hand.
It's definitely got out of hand.
Like ridiculous to the point where it's like, so it's the one end, yeah, it's not obviously right to, you don't bash another person for who they are, but you can turn around and bash this other type of person for who they are. And I realize there's like some potential, historical reasons why everyone thinks that they can point the finger at one type of person. But also we need to realize that our history is not what we've been told it is. Like, it's not what we've been told it is. Yes, there's been a lot of things that have happened in our history where the group of people that were the people that did the bad things were a certain skin color and whatnot for a period of time, but it's been the other way too. From what I've noticed throughout history, it's gone all around. Everyone's effed around with everybody, to be honest with you. Um, just what's been kind of the narrative that's been sort of pushed and kind of tweaked and falsified even a little bit is the European white, European uh, bad guy to the whole world, and so that's what everyone believes. But so from historical standpoint, and if you look at especially like more of our recent history, that's totally what it looks like, um, and that might make some people feel like it's justified, to attack one type of person. But even that doesn't make it justified. But still, that's what it appears, that these are the bad guys. But even within that history, the recent history, that's still a lot. There's still a lot of missing information that most people don't know because, like I said, our history is very fabricated. Yeah. A lot of fabrication going on there that people really need to start looking into. But so I understand, yeah, there's some history behind it. Everyone still is believing in that they feel like they're justified to silence one type of person. Yeah, but
and even when you like go based on that justification, like it's really silly because it's like that's like okay, I have this new friend, but their dad is a racist, mean, nasty person, but this person, their son, is really nice. But I'm gonna demonize him and attack him because his dad is a nasty person.
Yeah,
it's like, does that make any sense? No, not at all. Like, and that's only just one generation removed. That's insane. Like, you're like, okay, 400 years ago, maybe one of your ancestors, probably not even related at all, did some horrible stuff. So you are ultimately the most horrible person in the world. That doesn't make any sense. It's like.
So yeah, there's that. Basically, it's not. People might think that it's justified, but obviously, it's not a good justification. And so, what's happening right now with the whole PC movement, a lot of it obviously centers around, this kind of stuff, where this one type of person can't really say much of anything or defend themselves or be proud of who they are, blah blah blah. But all these other people can. All these other groups can. And that's part of it. And then there's a lot of other categories of what's going on as far as being PC, make sure you don't hurt anyone's feelings with what you're saying, and like all this kind of, I call it nonsense because I really do feel kind of like it's nonsense. But
yeah, exactly. It's like when we talk about like eating, it's like people that are vegan hate people that eat meat. People that eat meat, wow. It's like
it's overgeneralization.
Overgeneralizing, but like you can, if you go on YouTube and like type in like angry vegans, like you'll see
there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, and they're like, oh, disgusting, horrible meat eating people. Then the meat eating people are like, oh, you vegans are so stupid. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of people.
But they're not being PC with each other.
They're not, but it's like they're trying to tell the other one to be PC. They're like, hey, don't worry about what I'm doing. You need to check yourself. They all say that kind of thing. It's like, you guys are disgusting. We're not, but you are.
Oh, so
they're trying to put each other
now
in
we're kind of like, people policing other people, telling them how they need to behave, whatever, instead of like looking at yourself and seeing how you should behave and what not, or something like that. Okay.
It's because it's a newer thing that people are like really going. It's like they're trying to develop more categories where they can be like, okay, you can't really talk about what you eat in public around people because you might offend somebody. So it's just another one of those things where they're trying to find another way to kind of like police, as you're saying, like what people are saying and doing out in public. So it's like eventually what are we supposed to just like stand around but also keep space because if you get too close, you're being bad, you kind of have to back up. Don't eat around anyone because you might offend somebody.
Social distance.
Yeah, it's just like everything is like this is like where it's good, like where people would like it to be, I guess. Like everyone's spaced out.
Those people.
Yeah, those people eat. You can't eat around anyone because you might offend someone. You can't talk because you might offend somebody. You can't like be proud of everyone has wear neutral colors because you might offend somebody. Like all this
or rainbow.
Or rainbow.
You can do that.
But you might offend someone with a rainbow too. So.
But who cares? That's the thing. That people don't care
exactly.
if you get offended from rainbow colors, but you can't offend the people that are in that community of what you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's like it gets really confusing and really like ridiculous. So it's like people just need to like stop. Allow people just to be who they are and enjoy it. Like you don't need to like check someone because like I'm a gay, plural, blah 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 blah. You need to respect me. It's like nobody cares really. They're like, cool, you do your thing. No, you need to like acknowledge me. It's like, why?
I did. I saw you, so I have acknowledged you, right? That's another big thing. I don't know where people are at this. I know last year was a really big thing. The whole like new pronouns for people and their different categories that they want to put themselves in as far as like gender and whatnot. But that was a big thing where it's gonna be a federal like crime to call somebody something that wasn't their preferred pronoun that they made up that you may not even know exists. So it's just a lot of like weird stuff that like has been circulating around. Yeah. And then you can tell them about your experience in one of your classes where it's like you being the only, I guess straight male or whatever. You pretty much all eyes were on you.
Yeah, it's just like it is a constant reminder, like at least once a week. And my class was 4 days a week. Was okay. So here's the bad guy. And they put it up on the board. Like,
what class was this?
This is for one of my actually pretty much all my sociology classes beyond like just the statistics and stuff like that. When it was like even a women's study class, gender study class, racial class, or if it was just like society or inequality, any of this stuff, like it's always the same thing. Here is the bad guy. And they put up all the categories, like you're single or you're married, white male, blah 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 blah, educated, blah blah blah, and instantly everyone would be like looking at me, and like even the teacher would be like, people like him are like the problem, and I'm like, but I'm the only one in here like that falls in that category. Like you guys are the majority. I'm like, what's going on? Why am I the bad guy? It's like because people, and then they'd encourage and inflate each other up on this whole thing. Like someone would be like, oh, my 4-year-old wants to transition genders, and I'm like, what? And everyone's like, yeah, that's great. Or like a gay guy would be like, I'm gonna write a handbook to put in all the elementary schools and middle schools about butt sex so they know how to do it safely. And I was like, wait, you're gonna do what now? And everyone's like, yay! I'm like, what is going on? Like, these kids shouldn't be doing each other in the first place, but you want to teach them about doing anal sex. Okay. It's like transitioning, like all these things, like tons of gay people in the classes and everything like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's like they made everyone else feel uncomfortable because they're like, this is what we do. And like they had like the people would be like, hey, you know what, gay lady in the class would be like, as I was like pounding out my girlfriend with my dildo, yeah, and we were like looking for the dicks and stuff like that, but we don't want a guy. But yeah, it's like, I'm like, whoa. I'm just like, what is going on? And then instantly, it's like anytime I had a comment, they'd always get like all eyes on me, tons of glares, tons of irritation, and always constantly revert back to like, well, you can't know what you're talking about because you're a straight white male. Meanwhile, all my classes, I was always the top scorer on everything because I understood the subjects very well. But like, anytime I'd say anything, like, I was ultimately the bad guy. So after a while, like, they didn't even like, if I raised my hand, they wouldn't even call on me or like anything, like, because like they didn't want to hear what I had to say, even though I knew what I was talking about. I was like demonized the whole time.
Well, it's like it's a different perspective from their own experiences. I guess they could not, or they didn't want to hear it. But you, on the other hand, have to be bombarded with these different experiences from anything you would ever want to be involved in. So it's like it's unequal there because you can't say your voice, but they can say theirs, and because you're the ultimate enemy. They're the ones that are oppressed and what, or I don't know what the dealio is here, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting. This is a big issue because this is what's going on at colleges and universities. Well, maybe not now because of the whole pandemic thing. Maybe they're doing it online.
Well, yeah, they do the discussions now online. Yeah,
online discussions. But this is like it's almost like it's like brainwashing, but also like perpetuating a certain like I don't know, because then you could be like, well, are you saying that your perspective is what's normal and which should be perpetuated? your perspective,
Yeah.
and not these people, all these other people or whatever. It's like it's not really that. It's more that the hushing of you, the this is what the public enemy is. Everybody, we hate this person because they are this
Yeah.
type of person, but you guys can just do whatever you want, sort of thing. That's what's not quite right about it.
Yeah. It's because what it ends up doing, like you're saying, is like, okay, so my opinion of my life doesn't matter because like I am the bad guy. So it's like my life experience is considered not normal. So they try to remove it, even though they don't even want to hear about it. But theirs is going to be considered normal, and they want everyone to know about it. Everyone, even young kids, which is like not a normal thing. Because it's like instead of like allowing kids to just be who they are, they get like constantly bombarded. Like I remember like one of the things we talked about is like having a tranny read a story about trannies and sex to like young kids, and a lot of people are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why are you doing that? Like that's really inappropriate to be reading to like grade school kids these stories." And this person's dressed in drag and everything like
The
that.
people in your class
Yeah.
actually disagreed with that.
No, I was the only one. All of them agreed with it,
Okay.
and and everyone was like, "Well, what's wrong with that?" I'm like, "Would you be okay with that if I talk to your young kids about normal people having sex?" They were all like, but it's okay to talk about like trannies having sex and normalizing that and having them come read to your kids like this is like, see everybody, this is what's normal. This is the person that's going to educate you about life.
That's actually a good point to bring up. Is that the bottom line in that scenario? I don't think any adult that's not like the kids' parents should be talking to little young kids about doing it and all that kind of birds and the bees. I think in general that's kind of creepy. But especially when you are... See, I guess we can bring up the whole nature thing here, okay? Let's just like go there for a minute because it's like, yeah, there's male and female and they come together and they produce offspring. That's kind of nature. That's kind of what's natural. If you're going to teach kids about this whole birds and bees thing, I would think it would be more appropriate to teach them kind of like the natural way that nature sort of set things up. Biological kind of... And people can disagree with this if they want to and get offended or whatnot. But and I would think trying to teach them sort of the... anything outside that becomes more creepy to me, okay?
Yeah, it does, because there's just way too many things that like end up being like, why are we making that a normal thing? Like, why is that the normal, but the other one, like my life experience, like that can't be normal. Like, just like a person that's like married to a woman, has kids, and like is just trying to figure life out, that's not normal. The normal thing is like being confused with your gender, or like blurring a lot of lines, or like saying you're one thing, or like self-identifying as a stick or a tree, and then being like, but you got to call me a shim because I'm like a man and a woman and a lady and a dog at the same time. Like, all this stuff is like ridiculous. Like, that's supposed to be normal, is what they're trying to promote. It's because like in all my classes, like that's all they kept trying to promote. And like the sociology classes were the ones that are always doing like public demonstrations at the school too, like trying to like cover all of the campus with like, them laying around or like wearing shirts and stuff, like saying like, or whatever, proud, and like don't get offended if I'm doing this, but like if I walk around, like I would get like glares, and like I was like, because I was just a normal person, like I was
normal,
quote unquote normal, like because I was just being
yourself. I don't know.
It's like just a standard run of the mill like white male that wasn't like trying to show everybody that, hey, look at me. Like, that's not normal. Like, what they were doing was considered normal. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's...
And then you bring up the whole discussion of what's normal and all. But, I mean, this is like
natural and biological is what would be normal.
What? Are you saying that people that aren't natural and biological aren't normal?
I will say, yes, that is not normal.
This discussion about PC, and I think we're pushing the boundaries. But this is like a whole... That, like, pushes into a whole nother discussion that I think would be kind of interesting, too. Because it's like the whole, like, normal, okay, so it's okay to say this is normal because it's normal biologically? What about the people who don't fit in that? Then you're calling them not normal?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, it just gets like so like complicated and ridiculous, and this is why people just need to stick to just being yourself. Don't overcomplicate life, okay? don't act like people have to feel sorry for you or pay attention to you or wah whan, look at me, poor me, sort of thing. Just be yourself and express yourself the way you want to, and don't try to push yourself on other people. And if someone says something you don't like, you know, big deal, you know.
Yeah, it's like what you guys been saying about like you know the whole poor me kind of a thing. It's like an animal that has a missing limb doesn't say like look to other animals and be like, hey, feel sorry for me. Or even like a young child, if they were put in a wheelchair from a young age, and like that's just what was like their normal day to day life. They weren't like they're not asking for people to be like, oh, feel sorry for me, please. They don't know any different. They're like, this is just who I am. This is what I am, and I'm just enjoying it. It's like people like bombard them with like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like, how does it feel not to have that? It's like, and then they're like, oh, I don't have that, I guess. It's like, but the thing is, like, people need to stop this whole, like, feeling sorry for, it's like, these people and everyone else in the world wouldn't be like, oh, feel sorry for me because I don't have that. It's like,
or I'm not that.
you know, or I'm not that. It's like, I'm not like a super rich, super strong, like, all this. It's like, I'm not like, oh, poor me. Oh my gosh. I wish I had like 16 legs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's just silly. It's like just let people be who they are, and like all this will balance out. You don't have to like you need to make me normal because I'm different than you. No, it's like everything is normal from your own perspective. You don't have to like tell someone that their normal is not your normal because we're like it's just insane. Like because there's always gonna be people checking each other constantly. It's just like ridiculous.
Bottom line, stop the PC stuff, everybody. Come on, relax. Let's just be ourselves and say the things we want to say. Stop getting so offended by what other people say and what they do. Um, yeah, and enjoy life a little bit more, everybody.
Yep, that pretty much wraps that up.